Hi everyone, welcome to today's Wyoming Small Business Development Center Network webinar, AI Products Roundup, Choosing the Right Tool for the Job. I'm Tyler, I'll be helping to facilitate this session. The Wyoming SBDC Network is a statewide resource funded by the Wyoming Business Council and the U.S. Small Business Administration. We offer free, confidential advice to all Wyoming entrepreneurs and small business owners. Our advisors are located across the state and they can help you start a business, grow your existing one, or recover from challenges. Now I'd like to introduce Paul Johnson, a member of the Wyoming SBDC Network and manager of the Cybersecurity program.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it. Thanks for everyone showing up here today. This webinar today is a component of our Cybersecurity for Small Business program that is funded through the U.S. Small Business Administration. We have a variety of offerings as part of our Cybersecurity for Small Business program. Mary and Brooke, I will throw it to you to educate us and inform us on your findings with the AI products that you have reviewed.
Great. All right. Thank you, Paul. I'm Mary Keane.
Hi, my name is Brooke.
All right. And so now you know both of our voices. And we're going to talk about AI products. In terms of talking about the right products, is we're going to show you how to find the right products. We're going to show you a list of the products we recommend as well. But mostly what we're going to do is we're going to show you how we came up with determinations of which ones had decent privacy and security policies and some that we would want to stay clear of. In the flyer that I'll show you, that Brooke's going to show you later, it's going to show you that we put it like green light, red light, yellow light in terms of how we did this. So we're going to define a couple of key terms for you, like data privacy, security, terms of service, sometimes it's called terms of use, and some different AI products as we go along. And then what we're going to do is we're going to show you how we developed some questions that we asked when we looked at these websites and these products to evaluate them. And so we'll give you some hints on how to do that as well. And we're going to share some tools and resources for you that will help as well. And then we'll just discuss some best practices and some red flags to consider.
Awesome. So first, some key terms that we have. When we were doing our research, we found that there's kind of different categories of AI products. We found that there are some AI products like ChatGPT that you could text type stuff in and then get answers back out of it. And then we found that there's other companies that were utilizing AI to make their system better. We also found some AIs that were helping with video and audio editing. So those are just kind of different AI product categories, which we'll show you a little bit later in our flyer, how we broke those down. And then we have our data privacy policy. In the data privacy policy, you're mainly going to find how they collect your data, what data they're collecting, and how they use it. A lot of companies, especially smaller ones, they'll also put their security policy in that privacy policy. So you can find all that information there. But there is some companies that have security policies, which that is what they will show of how they're protecting your data, what they're doing to make sure it's secure, those sorts of things. We've also found that with some companies, you can find this information in the terms of service and use page, especially with how they protect your data. And here's some understanding about the privacy policy. When you look at it, you want to see if they're using encryption, if they have access controls, what they're doing to make sure that your data is safe on that end, and then vulnerability management, having make sure that they are addressing like those security concerns and how they're making sure that your data is secure. With some companies, we found that they will discuss what they'll do if they do have a data breach. A lot of them, they'll talk about like, we'll inform you if your data is leaked. We'll make sure that it's public information, those sorts of things. Some companies do have that on their privacy policies. You also kind of want to look to see if they have certifications and standards, which you will usually find on their security policy, if they're SOC compliant, CCPA, all of those sorts of things. And then understanding these security policies, a lot of it is transparency. It's how clear they're talking about these sorts of things. We've had a couple of companies in their security policy where they'll mention, oh, we do take steps to protect your data, but you're not 100% secure online, so you need to make sure that you're protecting your data. They aren't really transparent about what they're doing to protect your data, but they are collecting your data. So you want to kind of make sure these companies are transparent of what they're doing with your data and how they're protecting it, kind of seeing your data rights. A lot of companies, they'll write down when they'll delete your data or if they will ever delete your data. Some companies, they'll give you a direct time. So it'll be like when it's no longer useful to us. So you kind of want to look to see about that. They'll usually put that at the bottom, what they're using your personal data for again. With those policy updates, we do look to see when the last time they updated their privacy policy, because that usually tells you like how frequently they're looking at it, how frequently they're updating their systems. We've had a couple where they haven't updated it in a couple of years, which can be concerning because you just don't know what they're doing now. So here's some questions that we ask when we look at the AI models. We look to see if they have 2FA available for users, just to make sure, again, make those data secure. We see if they're selling to third parties. A lot of companies do sell to third parties, but we also look to see if they're selling to advertising companies, because that's when you're going to see like your products being used in ads, your data being used for ads, like on Google and those sorts of things. So you kind of want to watch what type of third parties they're selling to, because some of them they'll only use it for, data holding, and some of them will use it for, again, selling data for advertising. Are they using your data to train their AI models? Just like, again, with ChatGPT, you know that everything you put in there, it's going to be used to train the AI model. So you know that you don't want to put sensitive information into that AI. Again, with encryption, we check to see if they're encrypting on transit and on rest. Sometimes companies won't state that information. They'll just say they're encrypting it, but we do kind of look to see if it's in transit or at rest. Again, like we talked about earlier, are they taking responsibility for securing your data, or are they putting it directly onto that user for securing it? Are they using EU and California policies? A lot of companies, they will have sections on for their EU users and their California users. We also look to see if they use those policies for users that are not in California or the EU, or if they're just using it for those two areas. And then are they following systems certifications like SOC, HIPAA, those sorts of things. Can be rare to find those, but a lot of companies do have them. Policies where you can see the user's data, if it's limited, those sorts of things, and how they do respond to their breaches. We do look after we go through their privacy policy to see if they've had a data breach and how they reacted to it, and see if those things have changed. So now we're going to kind of go through a company that we've done recently and how they've done their privacy in terms, just to give you like a real world example. So this is the bottom of the page for Podcastle. You want to look to see here just to see if you can find the privacy policy, which is at the very bottom left, and then you just click on it, and they'll take it to your privacy policy. As you see at the very top, it has when they last modified it. Sometimes it's going to be at the top, sometimes it's going to be at the bottom, but you do generally want to look for that. Yeah, we're just going to scroll down. They do define their terms, all those sorts of things. And then it shows you what the data they collect. It will usually be under a data we collect or personal data section on the privacy policy. And as you can see, they very clearly list out what they collect from their users. And then right below that is usually the usage of their data. This one is really great. They have a nice little sections of what they use their data for. Some companies have this, some companies don't. And you just want to read through it to make sure you're getting all of that information. And then below that, you can see that they have those third party that they give their data to, and they can show you kind of what they give those to. This one has a tracking and cookies policy. Sometimes they have those separate, but a lot of times they have it in their original data collection section. This one does a great job of listing out how they do their cookies, but not a lot of companies do. And then this is kind of where they talk about more in detail of what they use your personal data for. A lot of times they'll talk about how they use it to improve their services, managing accounts, contacting the user, those sorts of things. That's kind of normal. You mainly just want to look to see if how they're using their data externally. And yeah, they talk about their retention of personal data. This one talks about how they usually keep it for as long as they need it. They sometimes specify a specific date of like 2 months, 2 years, but a lot of companies just say for as long as they need it.
So you can see this is really long. Here's the one on GDPR privacy. And so this is for people in the EU. They get more protection than the rest of us. And so typically they'll have two different ones. They'll show one for GDPR for EU companies, as Brooke mentioned, and then they have one for the rest of us.
Usually what we do is we look at the terms, especially if we can't find something that we're looking at. This document is usually talking about what the user's rights are with, you can use our product for this, you can use our product for that, we want to make sure you're not doing this, those sorts of things. But again, they do sometimes have those security information in there. And again, this one's also really long.
Yes.
So this is our flyer that we created for our AI products. At the top, we just have a disclaimer, just kind of talking about that we did this information and it was up to date to the best of our knowledge when we did it, and it might be out of date later on because again, these companies are constantly updating their privacy policies, so it might change over time after we've done our research. And we do have our green, yellow, and red. As you can see on the screen, it kind of discusses how we kind of put those together with their privacy policies being robust, there's being some concerns or being a lot of concerns. And here are some of the products that we've researched with the yellow and the red and the last evaluation date. We've found a lot of yellow ones. Green and red are kind of far in between. That's kind of where we're finding it, that there's just some gaps in their privacy policy. There's some of them that have great privacy policies, like you can see on the screen, Microsoft Copilot or Novel AI, but a lot of them, they do have some gaps. Usually it's that they're selling their data to third-party advertisers.
Thank you, Brooke. Here, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the tools and resources that we use to do this. I'm sure you're probably sitting there going, I am never going to go through all of this. I'm sure Brooke and I probably thought that too, until we did. It's not too bad in normal English. They're pretty easy to understand. And once you have that list of questions that I mentioned early on, if you can come up with a list of questions, it'll be easier for you to search through those long documents and find what you're looking for. So for example, if you're concerned about your data being sold, then you start searching for, selling, transferring, all the words that could mean that. And then also you could use, believe it or not, ChatGPT or any of the other AIs to do the research too. So depending on the AI, some of them will let you put in a URL and then they will actually summarize a website for you. And so what you can do, and we have done in the past, is we have come up with our list of questions and we have said, please go to this website and please give us pros, the cons, any concerns, and so on. And we start with that. We do not just go along with what AI says about another AI, by the way. We might start with that just so that we have less to read or go through. So that is one thing that we have done. We have used ChatGPT for the most part. Some people have Copilot, that would work as well. The other thing in terms of evaluating it is, so you saw the flyer we have, and you're welcome to contact us and we can send that flyer to you. There are other websites, believe it or not, that are also doing this. So let me show you Futurepedia. I mean, it has a lot of information in here. Now they do, for the most part, they do not tell you which ones are the best or the worst or anything like that. What you see below here is other people coming in here and evaluating it for them. That way they don't get the risk of having AI companies mad at them. So just know that when you come into Futurepedia, this is what you do, but just know that this came in from other users of the website and not Futurepedia company itself. Some of it's really nice. They will have it divided up by the type of AI tools. So, if you're looking for video tools, they have this listed, and typically what they do is they give you an idea of what it does, why you should use it. And this also might be a good place to get some of those questions that you are going to develop. Just see what they did, right? Or you can always, look at our flyer where we talk to you about how we rank things as green, yellow, or red. And that should give you some ideas as well as to, maybe some of the questions you should be asking as well. You will see I'm just going to bring that flyer up real quick. Anything that we have marked as red, and so let me bring this up here. We have many concerns about this over privacy and or security policies. It means user data is being sold and that users have limited or no ability to opt out or have their user data deleted. Some of these AI tools will keep your information indefinitely, even if you delete your account and so on. Some of them will, especially some of the image sites where you're developing images, they will, in their terms and agreements, they will tell you that they own anything you do in there and they're going to keep it forever. So if you go in there and you make some video or some character for a game or anything like that, the company is going to own it and they're going to retain it. And so that might be a concern for you. It might not be for everybody. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people who are into gaming, they're perfectly happy for that to happen. But it's for a business, you might want to really be aware of some of the issues in this. So that is some of the tools that we have used. Let me bring us back to the slide. The other thing is that I recommend that you look at your antivirus website. So let's say you have malware or Malwarebytes, or you have Norton or so on. They're going to have a website and they're going to have blogs and so on. You might want to search through those and see if there's any concerns out there that a security personnel have, trying to alert people to. That would also be a good idea. Also, this is my favorite little website here, Cyber News. They cover everything from telling you which antivirus software they think is best to what the latest breaches are and so on. They have a website. They are also on YouTube. They're very funny. They're very short, but it gives you a really good idea of what's happening, with AI tools and other things that you might be concerned about. These are some red flags to watch for as you're going through that. Just look for, if they get vague on the privacy policy, that should be, that means that they are trying to hide something. At least in our opinion, either that or they're very bad writers. Now, it's hard to tell, but we are very concerned about some of those. We have seen some, Brooke recently, she did a lot of the research, so I give her credit. She did a lot of this. One of them, she said, you could barely read it because the font is so light on the website. Like it's a very light gray. Well, why? Why are they hiding that? Why don't they want you to read it? If they don't mention anything about standards or certifications that they've gotten. Now, if they're a young AI product and, it's in beta or something like that, that they may be in the process of that, but they probably should say that in their policies. They might be outdated or infrequently updated. They may require you to opt out instead of opt in for sensitive data. And so, it should, in our opinion, always be an opt-in. You should have to say, yes, I don't mind that you're using my data. But a lot of them, have opt out. And this is one of the reasons why ChatGPT that we do use at CyberWyoming, it is not in green, is because if you do not want your data to be used to train the model, you have to opt out. And in fact, you actually have to contact them and ask them to take your account and not use it to train your model. Now, I am a big user of ChatGPT. I love it, but this annoys me, and I think it's a risk because a lot of people don't know this. So in terms of best practices, create a template with those key questions. Let's start there. That it's really helpful. And then what happens is, as you research products, every one of your researches is going to be the same, which I think if you're going to evaluate something, you should ask the same questions of each product. In terms of verification steps, especially if you're using AI, or even if you're using Futurepedia or our flyer, you are going to want to double check what we have, because one, all of this information could be out of date very quickly. They could have updated their privacy policy. You want to then go to reputable sources, like, maybe I would consider your virus company, antivirus company's website to be a reputable source. Cyber News appears to be a reputable source, etc. And then you're going to have to just do continuous monitoring. These companies change these privacy and data policies quickly, and it could be something you don't like anymore. Definitely use AI to help you through this, so you don't have to wade through all of this text by yourself. Let me see. Let me bring up CyberWyoming. Now, you may have to help me with this. Actually, just go down to the bottom and send us a note. Here, info@cyberwyoming.org at the very bottom. Just send this email a note, tell them that you want the AI flyer, and we will send it to you.
I do want to do a little disclaimer here. The research here is based on the parameters that Mary and Brooke outlined here regarding terms of use and privacy. We're not endorsing or promoting any of these products, of course. Always do your own research, but this research was based on, for example, you may want to use a product that's red because it fits your needs, and you don't really care about those privacy concerns. But that's what these are based on, and these are not reviews on quality. These are reviews on safety and privacy.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
I think that's it for today. Mary and Brooke, thank you very much. I'd encourage everyone to reach out and to get a copy of that handout to have for your own personal resource. And with that, we're just past the half-hour mark here, so I'm going to turn it back to Tyler to close us out today.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Mary and Brooke, and everyone in attendance. The Wyoming Small Business Development Center is here to help you succeed, so please reach out to your local SBDC advisor or Paul in the Cybersecurity program, or visit our website. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.